Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the podcast where we always make the correct pragmatic decision and we always commune with the universe.
I mean,
I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I am Dino the Genetic Marvel. I am just so proud of the thumbnail I made. You gave me that meme, and I had seen it before,
Yeah.
but I love it so much. And like, honestly, if I go back, I can even layer it more so that like everything, like, because if I can cut and paste certain parts and layer it so like the hand looks proper and everything. Because like right now, I just put your head over it, but I'm like, I could switch it so the hand shows up properly. It'll be good.
Oh yeah, you could definitely like make it more realistic looking, but it's way funnier where it just looks like somebody cut out like a teen magazine and put our heads on like a colonial painting.
That is exactly what I was going for,
Yeah.
sir. Exactly what I was going for.
So yeah, the past couple weeks on Dan have been sort of politics focused. Like we talked about, when is the right time to step down? Like as Joe Biden was facing calls to retire, and then after that, we talked about with our guest David Berger. Trump almost got shot, and then now it's another week later, and Joe Biden has, in a very Lyndon B. Johnson-like fashion, decided to not seek re-election, and it's been kind of awesome. Like the only thing Joe Biden is missing, to like
is
a giant penis with a name. That's all he's missing.
He is also kind of missing right now. So that's also he's.
I think that's on purpose, though.
Listen, you know how you cover up elder abuse? Make the elder disappear.
Well, because he addressed the nation last night. Like he had a little thing in the Oval Office where he's like, "This is why I'm retiring."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Good stuff. It was a good speech. And then I think now he's just kind of like, "Go Kamala."
Listen, the problem is that that's not how that works, right? Like there's a lot of issues in regards to how this is playing out, and none of them are showing up good. Okay. Kyle said he's coming. That's good.
Oh, good. Right. Yeah, that's where our guest is, by the way, if you're wondering.
Yeah,
there's the guy from the thumbnail. He's coming.
Yeah.
Cavalry's coming.
Sometimes like listen, in actuality, like people come late, we have to reschedule at odd times just because we have lives, kind of like not crazy lives, but things happen. We are out there living life, so sometimes we have to make adjustments, and it works, right? But ultimately, I was gonna say is that this what was it? What the fuck was I talking about?
About Biden not seeking re-election and the Oval Office, or
like this is the thing is that there's been so much where I get none of this makes any sense, and this is all insanity, and like even with her being thrown in there, you're like, this is insane too. Hey, and there's Kyle. Hey, Kyle, what's happening?
What's up, other giant? It's okay.
That's okay. We went live already, so and we explained that you had a painful case of diarrhea, and that you were going to be delayed, and that's it. That's what we said to everybody. So,
good to know.
I mean,
how your like I know we fight all the time and everything, but the voice is just so pleasing.
Yes. It's like a soothing rumble.
Yeah.
I know. It's great. That's why the ladies love Kyle. That's
where are they?
Where are they?
In your imagination, sir. Clearly. Yeah, no, listen, the whole idea with Kamala being now the front runner, you're like, bro, people are saying some heinous things. Some of it even out of pocket. So, and I'm just like, hey, I'm like, you know what? This has become too much of a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Then like no one respects The Office anymore. Period. Fucking dot. And I'm like, that's a big problem. That's a big problem because America's strength was the idea of, well, America, baby. Like that was And that was for both sides. Both sides had pride in America. Now they have no pride in any fucking thing.
Yeah,
And that's a big problem. Right?
That's the fun of a decaying empire. Yay! Yeah.
Basically. Listen, and what do you do when the empire is crumbling around you? You try and find yourself by doing mushrooms. That's what you do.
Hell of a segue.
You put your son in charge, and then you go on vacation.
That's also too. Right? Listen, these are the things I feel that they're important. They're important to understand. So, Atlas, you have joined the League of Ridiculous Gentlemen.
The League of Ridiculous Gentlemen, yes.
Who, do mushrooms. So, how did that go?
Okay, so I went to go visit my friend in Eugene, Oregon. Shout out Dan. The show isn't named after him. It's an acronym.
I feel like we should. It'll be a better.
Just picture of my friend. Picture of my friend Dan.
I mean, he technically
make more sense then.
He also is now your spiritual guide in some fashion. Yeah. So you're like, I mean, why not?
Yeah. So he lives in Oregon, and I took the train. I took Amtrak up there to go visit him. Mostly just because, like, I had the time. Yeah. But also, it was a lot cheaper than flights up there.
Was it really?
Yeah, he lives in a little podunk town, so it was either fly to Portland and then drive for cheaper, which I don't think he wanted to do, or it was like $300 total. And the Amtrak ticket was $175 total both ways. Just would take 23 hours per
each way,
which
is fine. Like,
yeah,
just so you know, while you were in transit on the train, Cole messaged me because we were talking about because Trump had been just shot and you were on the train.
Yeah.
Okay. And Cole's like, I hope Atlas is okay. And I was
that wasn't when he was because it
was after.
On the way back. It was after we recorded and we were on the way back. Okay,
right. Yeah. On the way back, Cole messaged me. He's like, I hope Atlas is okay, just because this is big news and like there's going to be a lot of hullabaloo. Yeah. And my response was, I'm like, his autistic ass is on a train for a day. He's having a great time.
It's true.
The time of his life. Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah.
We're all on the spectrum a little bit. We have.
Kyle? Do you like trains?
I'm not one of those.
I'm not.
You're not the math science autistic.
No, it's not about the maps. It's not about like, trains are cool machines. It's just like an urbanism thing for me, where you can get from place to place without having to be the one driving. Like I had to drive up to Modesto, California for a work training, which is like LA to San Francisco roughly in mileage, and I hated it even more because on the Amtrak, it's not like an airplane where you're forced to sit there for the whole flight, and the only time you can get up is go to the bathroom. No, you can just get up and be around. Like there's an observation car, you can go hang out in there. You can walk around pretty much freely.
Go grab a drink. You can
go have a drink. You're allowed to drink on the train just like you are on the plane. Yeah. They have a dining car. And,
do they have a smoking section? Like, can you go out of the train and smoke or no?
Yeah, you can go outside to smoke during stops where they're like, we'll be here for 15 minutes. You want to go have a smoke, go outside.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And like, there was really cool stuff. Like on the way up, you fall asleep and then the sun comes up over Mount Shasta as you're just in a train. It was incredibly beautiful. It was really different for me because the guy who was next to me in coach would not stop coughing every 30 seconds. Like he has lung cancer.
Was he at least like trying to?
Yeah, he was, but it's very hard to sleep next to that every 30 seconds. So, but like 4 a.m., I just got my laptop and went to the observation card. I'm like, I'm just gonna write in the darkness as the sun comes up.
Which also is kind of like there's a certain enjoyable experience of writing in a train when the lights are off and stuff. There's a very it feels very you're like, I'm basically Hemingway right now.
It definitely like the aesthetic of being a writer definitely is fulfilled by being on a train.
Like, okay, I'll tell you this much. So today, I wore this just because I'm going to see Wolverine and Deadpool after this, and
Nice.
I basically Hugh Jackman. Just so you guys know, my fitness regimen has paid off. I'm basically a twin of Hugh Jackman's body. Just so
Yeah.
you guys know. But during the day, like we were grocery shopping, and I earlier this year in Florida, I bought my first ever pair of linen pants and a linen shirt.
Nice.
And I wore it out, and I was like, I'm basically the guys from Scarface right now, just walking around. It's fantastic. It made me feel so cool.
Like capturing the aesthetic of something is satisfying.
Oh, very much. Yeah.
Of a writer of Scarface, of whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, now you're into what's his face? The Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the Hunter S. Thompson days.
Oh, just because of the
psychedelics, baby.
The Aspen Chronicles. Go listen to that. With my dad.
Yeah.
So, I just got a bunch of writing done. I brought a book with me. I was reading a lot. They don't have Wi-Fi on the train, so you got to either use your hotspot or just find a way to entertain yourself. And
that's fine. Yeah, there's ways around that.
I saw lots of people, like there was a bunch of like Amish women that came on, and they were like playing cards for most of it.
Well, they're used to not having the internet. They're Amish, right? So
yeah. And another thing is you're forced to interact with a lot of people. Like when during meal times, they're like, we got 12, 4 booths. If you're a single person, we're seating you with the family of 3. Like you're just go sit with them.
Oh, that's fucking horrible.
I'm out.
I'm out. I would buy 4 tickets on purpose. Be like, no. I want 4 meals. I'm a table of 4. Thank you.
I hated it at first. Yeah, I hated it at first, but after a while, it's a muscle you just get used to. Like just having casual conversations with folks. Where you headed?
Any weirdo conversations?
Any weirdo conversations?
Because those are way better than just random.
There was a girl who was going from Portland down to San Diego on my way back. Who like does jewelry at a fair, and she like welds it to people, like welds it around your wrist.
Oh, so it's permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, you put the hood on and the without burning the person. And she's like, there's a way to do it. It's not like a giant torch that you're doing it on like a person's wrist, but it was very interesting getting to talk to people. Now, next time I think I'm going to spring for like a sleeper car, because coach is kind of awful if you're by like.
How much was what's the difference? What was the difference? So it was 175 in coach, which sucks.
Yeah, or it's like 600 for business, but you can fare split. So if I go with Katie somewhere, you can get like a sleeper for 300, and then like 300 a piece, which would be pretty solid.
Interesting.
Maybe. And then I can join the Mile Ahead Club. What else are you supposed to call it?
I mean, I don't know. This is the thing is like, I wish train travel was as affordable as it was in Europe, because here in Canada, like I would happily take a train all the way to Vancouver or to the East Coast. No question. I'd be like, no problem. I think that's a really cool idea. I like it. I want to go. But they're like, yeah, that doesn't exist. There's no.
The infrastructure isn't there. Or in the case of Amtrak, it's there, but it's sparse. And then also like there's this thing where they have to share the rails with shipping.
Yeah.
So there are times where you're just stuck there and you're waiting for the stuff to go by.
There is a train. So I'm going to pull it up right now. But like if you go via train from here to Vancouver, like it's more expensive than like
flying. Yeah. Like they just opened a section of Amtrak in like the Midwest around Minnesota and Ohio and all that, called Borealis. That's really popular.
Yeah.
I took the Surfliner, which is the one that goes from Seattle to San Diego, is the full up and down. But yeah, really fun time getting up to where my friend lives. And while I was there, part of the reason for me being there, aside from just going to visit my friend, is to do the thing that we've talked about a bunch of times.
Well, that's either mushrooms or gay sex at this point.
The answer is yes. No.
I like him, but not that much. No. Yeah. So Dan, he made me like a tea out of it, because he said
Yeah.
that when you like the first time, typically people throw up, and he's like trying to make it as gentle as possible on your stomach. So he made it into a tea. And I was like, so you know, being that I'm epileptic, I asked my neurologist, and she's like, it's fine, just have someone babysit you. So there was this whole spiel with me having to tell Katie when I was about to start
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And so we did it, and I
Does sound like
absolutely
gay sex at this point.
so we did it. And so I absolutely loved the trip. It was a fantastic time. I didn't like Dino. You told me that it's like a sledding hill with a new like blizzard coming through.
Yeah.
And how Dan explained it to me was it's disconnecting the neurons that are responsible for habits. So it makes it easier for people to quit smoking or get out of an abusive relationship. But I also didn't realize that habits can include how to drink a glass of water. I was like a toddler. I'd be like smacking myself in the face or like trying to do it. It dribbles down my shirt, that kind of stuff.
That is interesting. I mean, yeah, that makes sense because like walking can get weird, and like just opening your hand. Like, do you know that like for a couple of weeks, I keep on looking at my hand, and I'm like, I see 5 fingers, but I'm like, I feel like I have too many fingers. I don't
like a cartoon character. You're like, this is the correct amount for.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm like, well, nope, that's right, that's the right. And like I've looked at other people's hands, and because the second last trip that I did was the first time I ever had my socks off. And I started like looking at my toes, and then my toes were doing the same thing. Then I started looking at my hands, and I was just like, do I have too many fingers? Like, what is happening right now? And it kept on it was very enjoyable because things kept on changing dimensions. So it looks like I was now a giant in a miniature world. Like everything was not the right height. Like, you know, when you look at a door and you're like, that door is too short, you can tell immediately because it's a certain height that we're used to. So everything kind of moved. So it's like my armoire was like, it didn't have as many drawers on it. Like it was just, now it's smaller. I'm like, what is happening? It was messed up. But
we did a prank on a friend of mine in college where we like found little like toy versions of like the desk that they give you in the dorm room and all that stuff. So while he was passed out drunk, we moved everything out of his room and put the little toy desk,
miniature.
little toy fridge, and then he wakes up and he's like, "What the fuck? I'm giant."
Yeah. that would be awesome. Yeah. No, that's definitely a thing. So, Kyle was the one that guided me through my first trip. He was my giant in the mist. I don't know what you want to call it. He just guided me through the storm. Because there was a couple times where I'm like, and he's like, "You're okay." I'm like, you know, that kept on happening, and then I saw him do it too, so I realized it was normal. Was where you kind of forget to breathe, and then you kind of go, and then you're just like,
I do that while like eating food. So
yeah, like so that's also, I think that's just a big person thing. Because Atlas, do you do that? Like where you just forget to breathe and like you suddenly take a deep breath and like sounds?
Mostly happens while exercising, where I'm just sort of, I haven't breathed in the last 10 seconds. Why am I, but for the most part, no, that doesn't happen all that much.
Yeah.
Well, also, in my defense, most of my life I haven't been able to breathe out my nose. So
yeah,
fair enough.
But like that's why I'm kind of going like is a weird thing, but it gets exacerbated when I take mushrooms, and apparently your varicose veins get irritated. What would be the word? Or just
they hurt. And
Fair.
apparently, well, it's because I think it raises your blood pressure, so
Oh,
they bulge, and yeah, they'll hurt. And I don't know, like I've never seen anything that says it's dangerous, other than it's not an unheard of situation.
Yeah.
Like it happens. So
yeah.
I don't.
For you Dan fans out there, I guess the first, like we did an episode kind of like this where Dino recounted his first time with
Yeah.
Kyle being his trip sitter, and I'll link that in the description if you wanted to listen to it. It's like Hire a Giant or something
Yes.
like that is the name of the episode.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, so do you know what kind of mushrooms you took?
I don't.
You
I
don't.
can text Dan right now and see if he answers.
Yeah, why not? And
but-
so you took a tea, but do you
Yeah.
know how much you took?
He gave me 2 grams.
2 grams.
So not
Just-
very much, or he was afraid of setting something off, which fair.
Yeah.
But the problem, like, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but the problem was because my seizure medication is a blood thinner, I got over it faster than he did. So now at the back end, I was just like, okay, I'm sober sitting here, and he's still like, oh, I'm like, okay, can I have more? And he's like, we're out.
Yeah, and also you can't really have more. It's a weird thing that happens like that. Like you can't, like, how much, like usually like a week or 2 between sessions is probably advisable.
Mhm.
What's the longest? What's the
What's-
shortest amount of time between sessions you've had, Kyle? I know for
Oh.
me, I tried to do it within like 4 days, and it was shit. It was dog shit. It was horrible.
I don't know. I have never really tried to go a bunch of times because I've gone very extended sessions, so I would never like
Yeah,
usually be a few days to like recoup. I'm sure there's people that will do them all the fucking time, but I wouldn't really do that.
I just didn't find it very enjoyable. And even like the last time, I don't, because the last thing that I bought was 14 grams. So I'm like, I thought was about 5 grams. So I'm like, I don't think it was 5 grams. I think it was less. So wasn't that exciting of a trip. So now I'm like waiting, but now I'm like, I'm just gonna take the rest of it, and then shenanigans. But
Yeah.
yeah. So he made you a tea.
He made me a tea, and
Kyle made me a tea too the first time, and it was fantastic. It was very easy to take down.
yeah, it's a very like lemony tea. I think he put lemon juice in there too, but
I put well, yeah, I made a tea out of it, and I had no, like I used actual tea as well. Yeah, I used actual tea, and then so I steeped that, and then I steeped it in the mushrooms, and so after about 15 minutes, and then you drink it down, and you can add honey to make it taste less like dirt. And
yeah. He was like, so I was of course a little afraid because I'm like, what's going to happen to me at the beginning, so I know it's not like a seizure. And he's like, look, people can take entire like fistfuls, and the worst you get is you like gently retard yourself. His words. Which, and he's like, just for the duration of the trip, which is fine.
Yeah.
And he used it as a verb, so it's okay.
No, like, well, this is the thing is when I did them. So okay, I told you this was the first time I ever did them. Was in a movie. Nothing happened. I got home, things went wonky, and I fell asleep. That's all that I remember. But I don't remember anything happening.
Yeah.
Second time was I got some and I took it on a thing trip, on a camping trip, or not a camping trip. We went to a cottage. I took it. I just felt dumb for 8 hours. Like people would ask me questions, and I'm like, I feel like I should know the answer for that, and my brain's not braining.
I definitely felt dumb. I felt like a toddler, especially just because of the bonk and like the spilling water all over myself. And at the beginning, he was like, probably tell Katie you're not going to answer for a while because screens are going to be hard to look at. And he was right.
Yeah.
Because about 10, like, as it's starting to hit, I get a text from Katie. Trump just got shot. I'm like, I cannot look at my phone right now.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That was my reaction to what was going on.
Yeah, that seems accurate. Yeah, and that's totally reasonable. Yeah.
Before I had left was Katie's birthday on the 5th, and we like every year on her birthday she wants to eat sushi and watch Hamilton, and every year I'll get a different Hamilton song stuck in my head. And this year it was Right Hand Man, where at the beginning where they're like, British Admiral Howe's got troops on the water.
I've never seen it. So
Okay.
My wife will know that song. I will not.
So one of the first things I wanted to listen to was like, just play me the first 30 seconds of Right Hand Man before like Hamilton and Washington come in. Just the chorus at the beginning. And he's like, why? I'm like, do it! Like, just very toddler-esque. So he did that, and then he was like, why don't we listen to an album all the way through? Maybe that'll feel good. So first we did Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. So the good one to listen to. While we were talking about it, we had, a nice conversation about the possibility of Katie and I having kids, and like our respective journeys of how our dads were to us, because both of our parents are divorced, and like how, and just like how not, like we're trying to not do that as people. And that like dovetailed into as a father for me if I decide to have kids in the future. And it was really nice. We were talking. Occasionally, I'd tear up. And well, super gay. Well, while this is happening, I was on his couch. He has a skylight in his living room, so I was like lying down on his couch, looking up at the skylight, and all the gunk on the skylight was like moving in time to whatever music we were listening to.
Oh, that's fun.
So after Pet Sounds, I put on Signals by Rush, the one with subdivisions, and
it's a hard Atlas move. I like it.
Yeah, my favorite album of theirs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a really like cathartic conversation. And this is also when it's in Oregon, like 90 something degrees out. So once we finished Signals, he's like, do you want to go for a walk? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. The 90 degrees in Oregon also led to me sweating out the mushrooms faster than he did. So now I'm regretting going out to exercise or doing this when it's hot out. I think
every time makes sense. Yeah.
I think next time I do this, I should do it when it's cold and I'm not like, yay, be in nature and stuff, but not sweaty.
There are, I've never done mushrooms at night.
At night. Okay.
I've done it in a darkened room, so like the lights are off, but there was still light coming in. But yeah, it's always been daytime. I'm not sure how that would go.
First time I did them was at night.
How'd that go?
It's funny because I was just at home alone and it was dark, and I did mushrooms for the first time, and I watched Ted Lasso.
Awesome.
Everything went very like two-dimensional.
Oh.
So Scanner Darkly?
Yes.
The Keanu Reeves movie where things were drawn on the film. But it was like I never got through it because I would have just thrown up for an hour and a half. But like it kind of looked like that. So, but like everything's flattened out and I could see lines, like you see through the bullshit. And
I'm half imagining like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like you're real, but there are tunes or something.
Well, no, like you don't know what Scanner Darkly is? No.
I do, but I mean, like when you say like you can see lines drawn, like
like you can see everything more clearly, like but like flat, and like Roy really came off flat.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, the painting, like the paintings he had around the house were like move.
Yeah.
He has one where it's like an outdoor restaurant drawn kind of like Van Gogh style, and it looked like people were just like having dinner and the waiter was walking around like.
See, there's some element of that. So one of my favorite scary movies is called In the Mouth of Madness. It's essentially this, it's kind of like a mockery of Stephen King, like he's made a town. And in that, the problem is that the town that the writer made has become real, and essentially he has become God of this town.
Oh,
and his influence is slowly growing from this town to whoever has read his stuff. So it's a very cool story, but the whole thing is that like as things get weirder, like they arrive in the town and they're like, this is normal, but not. and then like things start getting weird, such as you look at paintings and people in the paintings just turn around and look at you, and you're like, that's fucking terrifying. But when they start moving and you're like, that's not supposed to move, you're like, oh, okay. Like I like to lie down in my bed and look, because we have the ceiling tiles that like the
drop ceiling.
Thank you for the word. And it's got all those little dots in it, right? So I just look at it, and then they slowly start like making different images, and then just start just getting all whacked out. And sometimes the bar that goes in between them just kind of like minimizes, so it kind of instead looks like a seam of like, and then it just continues between two tiles, and it gets very wonky. And then I just close my eyes, and I'm like suddenly teleported to a very different place. It's very enjoyable, I find. But for you, so you were talking the whole time? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it felt like a very long therapy session.
No, it's not weird. Dino just shuts down like a fucking Tim Hortons at 2 a.m. Like
that's Dino basically did what I did during the lemonade incident, where I drank weed lemonade, and then apparently how Dan Grove describes it is I just shut down. Like you would wake up, order pizza, and shut back down again.
Just,
so same thing, or like
there and never talk, and he's pretty much a corpse of a person at that point.
Basically, which is my natural state. This is all fake. Everything I'm doing right now is fraudulent.
Weren't we already trying to get like a captcha to make sure he's a real person still?
Very possible.
Okay, which one of these is the trash can with the raccoon in it?
Well, it's Toronto, so it's
all trash. All of them. It's definitely all of them. I don't know. So I've never I don't know. I like the trips that I'm on that where everything is absolutely fucking bonkers. Those are good. Kyle's place where I did it the first few times, he's got a very bright family room. There's a lot of light coming in, but also he has a balcony off of that, and it's weird because there's a hill, so it's like you kind of look out directly onto grass, and big trees, and like I see like for 3 times I see a panther in his one tree, and it's like a big panther face just looking at me, and I'm like, what a dick, and I just want to shoot the tree. But
that's the reaction, not oh my god, there's a panther in the tree.
I'm not afraid of a cat, sir. They're a worthy opponent, and I will take them down.
The first time we did it, Dino's like, I want to go outside. I'm like, okay. And we go out there, and we live by the Canadian National Exhibition. And once a year or so, for a week, they have air shows like jets. And their turnaround point is my street. So if jets would be buzzing by the building while we're outside, and I'm like, outside's a lot. He's like, outside is a lot. And we go back in, and then I'm just like, in our defense, there's usually not jets flying overhead when you're doing mushrooms.
It's got a point. I think I would have enjoyed the outside more if I was given more and wouldn't have like gotten over it so quickly.
I think it was your blood thinner that did it.
Definitely.
That's how it is with drinking too, because like drinking will hit like one drink hits like a fucking truck, but half an hour later I'm back to normal. It's a very weird.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I'm Eastern European, so unless I sober up pretty fast unless I'm like continually drinking. Like I can't. Beer has more effect than like liquors.
Same. Yeah.
Like I can drink liquor pretty solid, but like beer will have.
It depends, right?
There's something about the potato that
I don't know. I can drink beer all day, just nonstop. Like it's just the only thing is I just start pissing, and once I start pissing,
I peed. Oh yeah, I peed a lot when I was on mushrooms too. Like just.
Were you drinking a lot? Did you have to drink a lot of water? Were you very thirsty?
Yes, I drank a lot of water. Definitely.
Kyle was very thoughtful of that and had a thing of water right there, and I was like, "Can I have some water?" I'm like, "He's like, that's yours." It's like beside me the whole time. I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Oh yeah, Dino pissed like 8 times.
I also one time when I had taken a significant amount of mushrooms at Kyle's place, I was like one of my fistfuls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like one of those 7-gram ones. And when I went to the bathroom, I kind of like his bathroom reminds me like almost identically of a bathroom in my father's childhood home in Greece. Okay, which we used to stay at when we would go to Greece until we built our own place.
Okay.
And the only difference is it has a door, and the one in Greece has a pocket door and slides in and out.
Okay.
Mine does have a door.
So. Yours has a door, yeah. Which Kyle,
oh yeah,
it's a different story. Anyway, so I'm in there, and all of a sudden I feel like I just dreamed up like half a life worth of stuff, and I just like all of a sudden I'm like, do I live with Kyle? I'm like, what? Like, did I just dream that I got married and like had this whole life? And I'm like, am I in Greece? And I'm like, wait, what's happening right now? And I was just like so out of it for like 30 seconds, and I was just like, no. I'm like, I'm married. Everything's fine. I don't. Kyle's my friend. I don't live with
Very
Kyle.
Inception of you.
That's very
like,
much.
Or it's like it's a psyop or something.
Okay, Alex, did you see like anything? Like, did you have?
Yeah.
It was okay. Well, almost everything was constantly moving.
Okay.
Somehow, like sometimes in rhythm to the music, sometimes whatever. There was also like it felt like my body was on a 1 second delay. So like I would choose to move, and then it wouldn't move immediately like I thought. Like when a video game has a bad connection.
Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like.
Like you lagged in real life.
Yes, that's exactly what it felt.
You're just getting older.
Yeah.
What okay, what else was there?
Generations.
Did you talk to anybody that wasn't there?
No.
That's a good question.
Just Dan.
Did you close your eyes at all? Like did you like have them closed for a length of time?
Yeah, well, when we were having that like kind of therapy session, my eyes were closed for a good chunk of that. I sang a lot, like just in time to whatever music was playing.
Would you sing your words?
Like I would sing along to it, like the lyrics.
Oh, you'd sing the lyrics to song. Okay.
Yeah.
You're retarded. Not Atlas, Dino.
I figured.
Why mine?
Did you sing your words and what? It became a musical? What's wrong with you?
Well, that's the thing.
I've done that.
Like, that's the thing. I'm on kind of a musical kick right now, so that's not completely out of pocket for.
He's a liberal. That's his like that's their jam. Whatever, bro. Anyway, that's fine. It's
your words.
No,
that's what happens when you gently retard yourself.
That for me, if I get really really high, I start to kind of talk rhythmically.
Mm-hmm.
When Dino's really high, he starts bringing on this horrible Greek accent.
I will cut your face, giant.
Those are his people. Leave him alone.
I will cut you in the face. I will scar you. I will cut you right in your face cleavage.
Here, you want to know a nightmare? How about you hire Dino, get Dino a job at a place that has like 5 other Greeks.
Yeah.
And then they all just like Greek in the corner together. Because that just happened.
What?
Yeah.
What is that even, how is Greek is a verb? What does that mean?
Well, that's actually a different thing.
It has multiple usages. Yeah. It depends on your audience, my friend.
I hope you're not doing that in the corner, Dino. But
hey,
that one guy looks
what
rough.
I do in the corner is none of your business, sir.
That's him in the spotlight.
Also true. So yeah, no. So Kyle got me a job to
at a place that we're not really.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's true. At a place where stuff happens, and the best part is that I was like, "Oh, I'm Greek too," and the person who we report to saw the big boss and was like, "Hey, big boss man, who's Greek?" Goes, "Dino is one of our new guys, and he is Greek," and he goes, "Fuck yeah, put him on payroll for last week," and I'm like, "Yeah,
nice."
I'm like, that is how I like to work. So yeah,
no, like Greece fell and went bankrupt.
Lies, all propaganda. So yeah, so it's been great, but also too like I will Greek it up with the other Greeks, and we'll talk in Greek and stuff like that, and I make sure to do it right in front of Kyle's face just to Right.
But when the Greeks get angry, it's good to have a translator. So.
Oh, one guy lost his fucking shit. So this is the thing. Greeks yell, okay? They talk loud, but also they will cuss you out. And they're like, hey, if I come down there, I'm going to fucking cut you from stem to stern, and then I'm going to jizz on you. Okay? That's what's going to, like, though it's very aggressive. Like, it's like, hey, you step to me, I'm going to cut your throat, eh? Like, there's a word is, that's his fact. So it's like, I will cut your throat. Just, is like literally, and I'm just like, yeah, no, everyone's very aggressive, but also it's a very, very low tolerance for stupidity, right? So people do stupid
Except
shit.
for the 6-day work week. That's objectively stupid.
Bro, Greeks don't work 5 days now. You think now they're by law you're gonna work 6 days? Okay, I wasn't working 5 already, bro. Let's just calm down.
Like they're gonna be there begging for the influx of immigrants. This is like somebody needs to work these other
days. Yeah, like listen, people are like, "Can we immigrate there?" Okay, what do you want to do? We just want a job. Yeah, good, go work.
That's fine. I think the idea when they say 6-day work week is like what full time is.
But, yeah. Hey, trust me. People didn't work full time when it was 5 days a week. And they're like, oh well, now it's 6. Okay, still not gonna happen, bro.
No, but you know why the 4-day work week works and the shorter days? It's because that's how much work people actually fucking do, and everybody's just like punished by the clock. So they're just like, oh, okay, now we're just gonna sit here for a longer time doing fuck all. So I'm like, how about we just like cut the bullshit and do things properly?
Well, I'm way more productive in a 6-hour day than I am in an 8-hour day.
Yeah. Well, you're the exact same productive.
Yeah. Like,
no, I think I'm more productive in 6 hours than I am in 8. Like in 8, probably, yeah. I will pace myself and then not produce as much. Yeah. Whereas 6, I just go, and by 6, I'm like, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna go for lunch and not come back.
It's the George Costanza thing, right? Where you just look annoyed until it's time to go home. For sure.
Oh, I've done that.
No, I start all my days like that.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, oh, this again. Okay.
But, okay, let's go. What else?
So you had your eyes closed.
I want you to do Blue Meanie. Honestly.
Oh, I definitely want him to do Blue Meanie. I think
or visual, and it lasts a long time.
Okay, so I texted Dan. What kind did we do? He said usually penis envy.
Oh, okay.
That's the name.
Yeah,
that's the name.
Yeah.
I don't know who named this shit.
Yeah,
I mean it's the same thing with weed strains. That they just kind of make shit up. Like,
no, weed strains are way cooler because I have one that's called OG.
OG Kush.
Oh no, it's OG Comatose. Like, bro, the weed I smoke is called Comatose. That is wild.
Mm-hmm. That is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, just like Purple Gorilla or whatever. Like, it's all kind of just weird names. It's fine. I just didn't know that there was one called Penis Envy.
Yeah.
No, it's like the main one.
Okay. Yeah.
And then there's Golden Teacher. And
I probably should have taken Golden Teacher.
It's a more mild. Well, they consider it more mild, but I had that with something else. Like, I don't know. So for a while there, I was just blending, and it ended up that was one of the most insane trips I've had. So other than Enigma, which is
So that was pretty much the trip itself. The after effects were very interesting, where I found myself being just more sensitive to people around me, what was going on, and just in general. Like I came back, I went to therapy because I was going to therapy, and then continued the conversation about like personal legacy. More of the stuff where like, because I had to watch Hamilton, and a big theme of that is legacy. My therapist asked me to write a letter to myself in the future and then send it on email. So then a couple of years in the future, it'll pop back in your inbox. And then however you are at the time. So I got back and I was listening to Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story, the finale from Hamilton, and just sobbing, like just tears running down my face. Katie's asleep next to me and doesn't know any of this is going on. As I'm like just writing to myself, and it wasn't like sadness, but just intense emotion.
Yeah, that's a real thing, right? Like it's which like I know for myself is I cry way more now than I ever have, and it's just over emotion. Like it's just up to 11.
Well, it's allowing you access to emotions you didn't have before through new neurological pathways. It's like when you're like, yeah, I can now, but like before mushrooms and shit, I hadn't cried for years because I couldn't. So
that's what Dan told me the first time he did it. He and his sister cried for the first time in like over 5 years.
Yeah, you'll be no, it's like good, it's therapeutic, and then but like afterwards, like how did you feel after? Like you said, sensitive, and I don't think that's the right word, but
I mean, I've always been kind of a like sensitive, wear my heart on my sleeve person.
Well, you're California, so
yeah. But just even for California, I got made fun of it as a kid, and growing up and stuff.
Yeah, but that's no, but that makes sense.
So like all that in mind now, I think afterward, just with getting in arguments with people hasn't been as often.
Satisfying?
No, it's not. It's way less cathartic to be like, yeah, dunk it on someone than it was before.
Yeah, you start realizing a lot of this shit just doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
and that's kind of funny because it's like, yeah, I go through that all the time, and I fight with Dino about that shit.
There needs to be like a Batman villain who's like, I put mushrooms in the water supply of all the world leaders.
Oh, 100%. Like, listen, the idea that you have people in charge not taking a break in that fashion, because this is the thing is people will regularly end their day and their week, celebrate the culmination of a project with drinks, sometimes heavy drinks.
Yeah.
The idea is that that's a reward, when in actuality you've just punished yourself significantly, right? And the thing is, like, because you can't drink, right, Atlas? Like you just don't.
I drink. I'm able to drink. It's just like not advised for the most part. They're like, you can drink all you want, but just like you are more prone to seizures when you drink.
Right.
So I just don't much. Like I'll have a drink at a social event and then switch to soda after that.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
That's how I drink.
But the fact is, like being more open, in tune, or observant to the world around you is definitely a thing. Like Kyle said, like I don't think sensitive, emotional or sensitive is the real thing. It's more so that you're just more attentive to. Like,
when I say sensitive, I don't mean like more thin-skinned. I mean like more in tune.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because despite how I act, I am very in tune to the people around me most of the time.
Yeah.
As Dino probably witnessed in Hexwood and stuff. But
he turned into a bat.
Yeah. So it was just like it's always interesting. It allows me to be less surface. Like it's like I'm a instead of everything that's like so right there, it's like I have that second of delay that makes things a lot more manageable to like fucking deal with.
Take a second. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like it's tuned in now. Like you feel less interested in like responding right away. Like it gives you a minute.
Well, it's that whole idea that like no is a complete answer a lot of the time.
That's a big thing that I work on in therapy, is that I am very prone to just kind of getting walked over and like
people pleasing.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So just like to deal with that sort of problem in my life easier. Like this has helped that significantly. I also, like, just for the last 10-15 minutes of the episode, I wanted to talk about how the people around me reacted to finding out that I did this. Because I told my immediate family and my in-laws, and it was very interesting seeing all of their reactions. Okay,
that is exciting. That is
okay. So in Katie's case, it was I told her, I talked to my doctor about it, and she's like, okay, just be careful. Let me warn Dan about everything, and she was fine after that. So
okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
Took precautions, great. Came back. I told both my parents about it, just like when I was talking to them. normally. My mom was like, "Oh my god,
you're a drug addict.
What have you done to yourself?" It wasn't even like a drug addict thing. She's like, "It's gonna make the seizures worse." I'm like, "No, I talked to my
Who's
doctor about it first."
Yeah.
What?
who was that?
My mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just like maternal worry. My dad, on the other hand, if you've listened to the Aspen Chronic
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
episode, he was like, "Dude, mushrooms are awesome," and then went back to eating pancakes. It was awesome.
He may have been on mushrooms at that time.
Maybe, yeah. It was me, him, and my aunt getting breakfast together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thing is the cool part about your dad is because of the experience he has had, is that he recognized like you did mushrooms. Awesome. That's your journey, man. He's like, oh, that's nobody else's business. Like it's we're asking because we want to know that like you did right. Like you didn't like the problem with mushrooms is there are varying degrees and everything, and there's certain things that should happen. And like the best part is that you have been more in tune for the times after, because this is only a week after, right? Less than a week.
2 weeks now.
2 weeks after.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's right now, like okay, so how did everybody else respond?
Okay. Well, for all my dad's faults, he's very good at like not getting too worked up in problems that aren't problems.
Yeah.
So glad that he did that. Where he's just like, I like them too. Good job. I told my sister, which was very interesting, where we were having a conversation, and she was like, "Do you want to like do them together as siblings?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go to like Joshua Tree or something and have a sibling journey on them."
So I just thought to myself, I'm like, no, man, you don't have to go that far. And then I realized Joshua Tree is probably not that far. It's like,
no, it's not. It's very close.
So I'm like, oh no, that's actually a pretty good idea. Just like make sure you're not stuck in this. Like, so for me, my thing was that like the outside was a little too outside. Like I needed it in doses, and other times when there have been no fighter jets above me, right? It's still been like I like to be outside just because I get to really see some awesome stuff. Yeah. But then it's like, okay, I need to turn it down a little bit and then go back inside. So if you're going to a place like that, make sure there's
yeah. Dan lived in he lives in a house in the suburbs, but like in between the streets, it's all woods. Nice. There's like a river and trees and stuff. So like that was naturey enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that differs in the desert.
The desert is a lot more intense of a outside, right? So
because there's nothing all you see is the shit that's not there.
Yeah.
Which that does sound pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I've done that in my bedroom. Like I had I've done like extreme doses of high. Like there's a mushroom called Enigma, which doesn't even look like a mushroom as much as like a different kind of fungus. You know what I mean? Like it's not mushroom shaped in any way. It's a fungus. And so they say if you do over 5 grams, you'll experience DMT like hallucinations. And I did about 6 grams. And then I started at 5 in the morning.
Okay.
I think it wore off at about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh my
is
God.
When I remember like walking around again.
Yeah.
And I saw some. Okay, do you know the Black Parade album?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the cover, how there's a marching dude that's a skeleton?
No. Come on. Would he like come alive or something?
But they're more like jesters.
Yeah.
And they existed. It was they exist. They don't actually they exist because I did DMT and I saw them again.
Oh.
So they're
that was after this or before this?
I did DMT much farther later, and yes, it was after. So
that's
they
so
came
funny.
back.
Like it's in your brainstem somewhere, and they're like, "Let's bring them back."
Maybe the purpose of taking mushrooms was always therapeutic for me, and it was to deal with like PTSD and ADHD and all the things, depression and PTSD. And I got through. Like it has helped a lot. Obviously, like accessing emotions that you didn't have access to for years, and then also but that's the thing. It allows you to process them by not like just focusing on them, like therapy bullshit. Like you got to take a step back and then let them be without having to feel them all the time.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the mushrooms over time, and if you take that's why microdosing, it creates neurological pathways in your brain, new ones, and that's why like they've tested it, like they work on people with epilepsy because the goal is to get your brain rewired so that it doesn't fucking trip a switch.
Yeah.
Like so it's funny because yeah, I would have gotten, you should have gotten your doctor's approval, definitely.
Yeah.
But
And I
like
did.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
but you are also like a prime candidate of people who should be using this probably
Right.
more often in my eyes. But
Yeah.
that's
And
not
like, I think I plan to, because it was a
Yeah.
very pleasant experience. It made me feel closer to Dan, because like even though we've known each other since middle school, and we're best friends, but like for since he moved to Oregon, it's like a text every few months, and then I think since this last trip, we're talking a lot more, and I think that's good for just the friendship too.
Yeah.
Is you go through that experience together.
Listen, it's also like I have a couple friends that I have not seen from before the pandemic,
Mhm.
and like it's becoming now. I'm like, I don't think we're friends anymore. Like, there's just two guys that I used to know.
you're adults.
Somebody
No, but
that I used to know. Yeah.
right. And that's why I'm like, that's the thing is like, all right,
Yeah.
but eventually that happens. So it's like, but when you do stuff like this, like that's the thing is this isn't getting drunk and hanging out. This isn't smoking a joint. This is it's a whole other experience, right?
Yeah, it was
And
going on a trip to visit a friend. You do them there. You do them as siblings, as a ritual, or not as let's
100%.
just do it for fun, right?
Just make sure you get good, like with your sister.
Yeah,
100%. That is a great idea. And also like because you guys have shared trauma, right? Like because you guys, your parents' divorce lasted longer than the Confederacy. That is a lot,
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, that's a wild thing, especially if you we're able to talk. Like I'm able to think and I'm able to not exist. Like I take them and I'm just like and I'm out. Like I'm just like
it's like a cryopod for
stares at shit. And
I just stare. Like that's the thing is like only recently have I started closing my eyes, and that's been a whole other whirlwind of excitement.
Yeah, he was afraid to close his eyes. I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
No, I'm a talker. Like it's funny. My sister has now started getting into improv, and I'm like, oh, that's how we know that there's the shared trauma because we're both in some form of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
She must be more damaged than you because
definitely.
Yeah, improv is much worse.
Yeah. She oh, and the last one was my in-laws.
Yeah, how did that go?
I didn't intend to tell them. They were just like, "So how are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I went to go visit my friend Dan," and then Katie goes, "Tell them what you did up there." I'm
like, well,
your wife threw you under the bus, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I told them, and they were immediately concerned for my well-being, not because you could have a bad trip. It's because they're illegal. I'm like, okay, first off, it's Oregon, everything's legal. A. Second, it's not heroin. Like they're very much
which is legal.
these were people who were in their 20s during like solid ass Reagan era. So they still have that dare like ingrained into them. The only reason that they do weed is because it's legal.
See, that's so fucking stupid to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, it's okay because they tell me I can. That's the program right there.
Because they enjoy weed, but they wouldn't let themselves do it unless it was then.
See, that's like,
I don't break the law. Yeah.
That's like all the people who were like, oh, I don't shoplift until you guys apparently just made it legal, and now they all probably like now you just have stores getting raided.
Yeah, but that goes back to that whole idea where like you have to take time and critically think about things, right? And that's a lot of as you get older and you start pondering serious topics, like you start to realize that other people don't do that. And the only bad part or downside about doing mushrooms is you start to ponder things a lot more deeply and be more in tune and start to say to yourself, that doesn't seem like something I should be doing. Like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this. You're like, that doesn't seem like a good use of my time. It doesn't seem like it's gonna make me a better person. Like, you start to prioritize things like that, where you're going, like, I want to cook at home because that's better for everyone. Like, and it's a better use of my time. It's a better growth of my skills. It's a better experience. It's a better way of expressing love to my family. Like, there's a million different reasons why it's better. But at the same time, sometimes I'm lazy and I want to go out for a hot dog. That's like all those things that you start to get deeper. So it's like, welcome to the club. There's a lot more trauma on this end, but it's good. You work through it.
Yeah.
I always find mushrooms to be like a really good like reset. Like I'm good for like an oil change almost.
Yeah, like he was saying, the snow on the sledding hill, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I'll do it once in a while, and then I'm like a better person for a while, and then I'll need to do it again. You get sucked into these things. Like Dino was talking about cooking, and I think that was how mushrooms I thought about. It's just like I do all this like instant food and shit, but then I'm like just hanging out for hours on. It's just like, wow, you just like cook something, you know, like actually put some effort in, and that's when I started making like these carnivore pizzas and shit.
Mm-hmm. And, that's good.
It is good. It's like, but like it's hard. I like to do mushrooms when I have something to mull over. But like lately, I haven't had like these crazy things to worry about, which is nice. But that means when I go on a trip, it's like not as good. Like I haven't been doing them or enjoying it lately, even so I stopped for a while. But,
yeah, I mean, like so far, it seems that the reason that I have done them or intend to do them has been interpersonal, where it's either I went to see my friend for the first time. Okay, so also weird, like fun fact: the last time I went to see Dan was March 9th to 13th, 2020. I got back 2 days before the lockdown started. So that time, this time, I went to go see him, and Trump almost got shot. So it seems like historical events happen when I go visit him. For some reason, like next time I'm going to go over there, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, so the aliens from Independence Day have started attacking."
That's funny because I went to like so like my grandparents lived in Chatham, and well, one of them still does, but I was in Chatham when Owen Hart died. I was in Chatham when Princess Di died.
Oh,
both like traumatic actual like events.
Huge, yeah.
And then I'm just like, well, and then my cat died on the way there. But
R.I.P.
Whose mic keeps on making a dinging sound? Is that your desk or is it your desk? It's driving me crazy. And hear like a ding 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 ding. Jesus, I'm going to stab you in the face. What? Please stop that. Please, for the love of Jesus, stop doing that.
Okay. Or do it every time a Greek accent comes in.
The problem is that he's doing it, but Kyle keeps on fiddling with something, and I'm like, what? Which one of you fucks is doing? Yeah, I need to take mushrooms soon. I think.
I'm finding out what's
just playing cards. That's it.
I'm not nice looking gasket on my water bottle.
That seems that will happen. But so you did enjoy it.
I did enjoy it.
You did feel that it did something.
Mm-hmm.
How have you had any seizures or anything? Like, how has there been any change in the norm? Like, in 2 weeks, would you normally have one?
No. The goal on a seizure medication is to not have them, and when you have them while on it, it's called a breakthrough seizure. I haven't had a breakthrough seizure in over a year and a half.
Oh, okay. So now we're waiting to see. Is your brain fog from your meds any different?
Not as bad. It's it's still there from time to time, but it's
true.
But think about it. They might be creating neurological pathways that are blocked by your medication.
Maybe.
Or it may be finding ways to bypass.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so there's a significant growth that happens through that process. So like it's very exciting. Like I'm very happy that you had an enjoyable trip, and I'm so glad that Katie's response and your sister's response were like that. I very much expected your mom's response to be that way, and your in-laws as well, 100%. I'm really happy.
You've met most of them now, so
yeah. Well, no, listen. It doesn't take me much to
read people.
To figure out the puzzle pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that Katie, number one, definitely found joy in throwing you under the bus because she knew exactly how her parents were going to react, and it was definitely hilarious.
Because she was expecting me to get flustered.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I after the facepalm, I was just like, yeah, I did mushrooms, and then they reacted in kind, and then I was like,
okay, are you a doper now?
No, I was like, okay, relax. First off, blah 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 blah, and like maybe in a pre-trip me, I would get either more flustered or get worked up over it, but I was just like, you can't hurt me, like I'm an adult or something. Yeah,
you know that's hilarious that your calm reaction to doing mushrooms was because of the mushrooms you did.
It's 100%.
That's why you didn't get flustered. It's because of the mushrooms. Like your ability to handle that situation that your wife threw you in.
I'm confident in the benefit that they had in me, and I endorse them as a drug, and I think I'll definitely do them again, maybe once a year or something. Maybe it becomes like Kyle was saying, like an oil change.
Listen, it's very much something that if you come up here, we're definitely doing them. It's gonna be awesome.
I'd love to. I just got my pictures taken for a passport. So
very nice. Yeah. Cole's supposed to be getting his passport because he got monetized. So he's like my first pay from thing is going towards merch and getting a passport. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, but his BM is trying to steal half that money, so we'll see.
Yeah, bummer.
Oh, it's $100. Like it's not like.
Yeah, you've met women, right? Yeah, it's like, oh, they make.
I know BM stands for baby mama, but I always just think of the Bob's Burgers, like she does her BM in the PM.
Yeah. Well, I think Cole is okay with bowel movement standing for the same person.
Also true.
Anyway, Kyle, thank you so much for coming on and
thanks for having me.
Talking about this with us. Where can people find and follow you and all that stuff?
Oh, Kyle Petryla, fucking YouTube. Yeah, beef up my YouTube channel. I need like 20 people, and then I can go live for some shit. And
this
I'm
is
on
being
Instagram
shared directly.
and TikTok and Threads, just because that's where shit lands too. And all right.
Yeah,
one of those things.
You can follow us at Generation Dan in all places. You can also check out the other podcast we have on this YouTube channel, Last Minute History, with aforementioned Cole Clayton, where the last topic we talked about was the history of mixology, which isn't as dumb as it sounds.
I don't believe your statement, but okay.
Yeah, aforementioned Kyle and Dino both have a show called what is
Life of Giants.
Life of Giants
on Mondays at 7 usually.
Yeah. Then we got Hammer and Cheese
on Tuesdays at 7:30.
Yeah.
And
Wednesdays is
open now.
Oh, you guys aren't doing it anymore?
No, we had Sketched Out has its last foreseeable
episode
because of lack of guests, quite frankly.
So
Kelly was our last one unless things change, but we're pivoting somewhere else.
Yeah. So tune in Wednesdays. It'll be something that'll surprise you.
Honestly, I think we might end up moving Last Minute History to Wednesdays because the classes that I was taking for my credential last year now got moved to Monday this year. So I'd have to shuffle stuff around. You can also follow me at Atlas Novak in all the places. I mostly just do sketches and stuff on TikTok and YouTube and stuff. Or my other podcast, Nexus at Night, which is about the trading card game Cardfight Vanguard. If you don't like it, understandable. Fuck you. I'm splitting the difference, at Nexus at Night and all those places. How about you, sir?
Oh, well, I'll tell you this much, everyone. You can find me tonight in Whitby at the Landmark Cinema. I'm going to be watching Wolverine and Deadpool, and it's going to be awesome. And if you don't have tickets already, it's already sold out, so suck it. Also, too, you can find me here. You can find me live. I am going to be performing in a few places coming up. I got to start sharing that stuff just because I think it's important. But yeah, I am going to be doing some live comedy. And of course, as always, follow me everywhere. Well, it's getting harder and harder to see me everywhere. So I'm just becoming that thin. So, welcome. Thank you. And Auf Wiedersehen. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.